I'm going to move straight on without further ado and welcome your next act to the stage. She's completely brilliant. Really was enjoying her set earlier on today, and I know you're going to enjoy it too. Please give a huge, bright club round of applause for Kathryn Bedford! Hooray!
Hey, someone got the clicky thing? Because I'm going to have slight difficulty with my PowerPoint presentation at the moment. Oh yes, I've got it. Sorry, Kathryn. Okay, right, this is me. I am Kat, and my mission this evening is to tell you that medieval history is cool. I have a slide, therefore you now know. My argument goes as follows. In the Middle Ages, there were castles. Castles have crenellations, and they have bows and arrows and archers and things, and that was cool. And they also have knights in shining armour who rode on horses, like this, and Monty Python, and that was cool. And they had ladies who looked a lot like me and wore pointy hats, and that was also cool. And they had dragons, which are the best of all. Does anybody here think dragons aren't cool? Good. That was the correct answer. I do have an exception for you. Can you imagine having your village terrorised by that? The dragon is coming! The dragon is coming! Oh, aren't you cute? Who's a good boy? You're a good boy! No, don't burn down that house! Bad dragon! Sit! And then St George comes along and we all have to go, hurrah for St George! He has successfully murdered a small green terrier. Yes, well done that man, really. That's exactly what knights are intended to do. The dragon that I work on, you will be happy to know, is way, way better than that. Largely because it is way, way bigger than that. It also flies around, flapping its wings. It terrorises the whole of Spain, which is considerably better than next door's cat. And it also has a beard. I don't know why, it just does. But clearly this is an extremely important beard because it kidnaps a princess for the sole purpose of having her wash its beard every evening. I imagine that when you saw those films with virgins tied to stakes and things, you didn't think the dragon was taking her off for a girly night out with painting and nail polish. Apparently, however, that is what you can expect. The other useful thing that my dragon tells you, other than don't be scared if you're a virgin tied to a stake, is why dragons sleep on gold. Now, I always kind of wondered about this. They always do, don't they? You have a pile of gold, you have a dragon, the two kind of go together, and gold is a bit lumpy. You've got a pile of crowns and cups and magic rings and things, and you lie down on it and you're going to think, what I could really do with him is a mattress. It's not a pile of gold. However, for dragons, it's the other way round, and there is a good reason for this. It is even a scientific reason, which kind of makes my talk a bit more academic or something. I don't know. The reason is that gold is very good at conducting heat, and dragons, because they breathe fire, are very hot, and they have fire inside them, and they flap around during the day, flying and breathing fire, and this is fine. But at night, it's a bit of a problem. That's not the only problem that dragons have with knights, but we'll get onto that one later. I'm sorry, I just had to kind of put it in, it was inevitable. So, at night, the dragon goes to sleep. And it's not breathing fire, so the fire just stays inside it. And it gets bigger and bigger and hotter and hotter. And eventually the dragon just explodes spontaneously all over the landscape. And it's a bit difficult to terrorise the landscape when you're in small pieces all over it. So what it does is it goes to sleep in a pile of gold, and as it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, the heat disperses through the gold in a very nice scientific manner, and the dragon stays cool. Dragons are cool, medieval history is cool, and come nicely full circle. The other thing that my dragon does is get killed. Because that's what dragons do. They get killed by knights in shining armour. The best thing about this knight in shining armour, though, is that he actually existed. He signed the Magna Carta. If anyone will have heard of the Magna Carta, you can go and visit the place where he lived. He very definitely was real. He also probably didn't actually kill a dragon. There's a bit of uncertainty about that one, obviously. We don't quite know what he was doing at the time. He might have been in Spain killing a dragon, I suppose. But we're going to assume that he wasn't. And what I do, having finally got to the point of this exercise, is look at people who really existed and had stories told about them that probably didn't happen very shortly after their death. And I'm going to give you another example of why this might take place. And the example I'm going to use is Richard I, because nobody's heard of Rupert's Roaring, and you will have heard of Richard I, haven't you all? Yes? Good. And he had Robin Hood and went on crusade things. What's really interesting is that he died, like many other people in the Middle Ages have done, but the story went like this. You'd be surprised, I went to a talk once that said the Middle Ages had no death rate. It was brilliant. Sorry. The story of Richard's death went like this. He decided that while he was in a war with the King of France, he would lay siege to a castle that did not belong to the King of France. This is the castle. It's a very accurate depiction, as you can tell. This is the besieging army, and what Richard decided to do was go without his armour and look at the castle a little bit closer. Yeah, that one no one saw coming, did they? However, people at the time heard this story, and they basically went, what the fuck? The greatest military strategist of his generation has gone to a poky little castle that nobody's ever heard of, and a poky little siege, and he's been an idiot, and now he's dead. Do you think that's likely? No, somebody's messing with us. That couldn't possibly be true. Clearly, he had to have a more interesting reason for being there than none. So what he was actually doing was searching for buried treasure. Because obviously, someone like Richard I had to be searching for buried treasure. He also couldn't just get hit with an arrow. It had to be a special arrow. It was a poisoned arrow. And it couldn't just be anyone that shot him. It had to be a special person that had been orphaned by Richard in the past, and though Richard's actions had been honourable, this person was grief-stricken and needed revenge, and was personally out to get him, and it was a big thing. So we were left with this story, in which Richard goes to this amazing castle full of treasure, and once he is there, he's bravely leading his troops into battle, and he gets shot, and he pulls the arrow out, and although he feels the poison coursing through his system, he continues to battle on bravely with the right arm so he can use his sword, and he attacks the castle, and he storms the battlements, and he's the first person there, and he kills all the defenders all by himself, even though he's got an army, and he keeps on going until he's won the battle all by himself, and he's saved all his friends, and he's got the treasure, and everything's wonderful, and only then does he succumb to the pain that he's been suffering this entire time, and allows himself to be taken away, and has a long deathbed speech about everything that's happened to him his entire life, and the fact he's repenting of being good at killing people and stuff. Because this is obviously so much more likely than that story. It's obvious. I mean, if you think about it, that's what